I wanted to make another video about my grandma. She passed away last week. And actually, some of the things that I remember about her were the routines we did as a family. So we actually lived down the street from her when they lived in North Pole. And then we ended up, I think, living with my grandma. It was a one bed, this was in the 70s in North Pole, Alaska. And they lived in a one bedroom, but they had two single beds out in the living room. And then in the hallway, there was another bed. And then she was in this back area that wasn't even a bedroom and had a bed. And then my grandpa had his own room. I guess it was like the main bedroom. I don't know how he got the main bedroom and everyone else slept elsewhere, but that's how it was. And their house was tiny and humble. And our routines were also extremely humble. So one thing we did every Saturday was we went down to the base. I think it was Elmendorf it was Eielson Air Force Base. And we would go down there because my grandpa was ex-military, and we would go to this laundromat on the base. And I loved it. Like, it was the most exciting thing ever just to go to this little, like, I guess it was a bungalow. It seemed, ginormous at the time. Like this huge place, and they would dry clean in the back, and probably was a lot of military people doing their laundry there. But we loved it because I just loved all the smells and the sights and sounds. It was something to do. And there's not a lot to do in North Pole, Alaska, especially when your whole family lives in a one-bedroom house. And another thing that we did also involved laundry. It was a routine, and my grandma liked using the clothesline, so we would hang things out on the clothesline as well. She would also round up my uncle's laundry, and we'd do his laundry too. He lived on the same acreage. I think it was like 8 acres or something, and his house was on the same property. So we went to the laundromat, we did laundry. That was our routine every weekend. We would go to the commissary on the base and get things, and that was like a mall to me. I mean, when you live out in rural Alaska, there's not a lot to do. The military bases were exciting places to visit. And I loved how they would salute when we would drive into the base, the sticker on the car, they would salute when my grandma drove in. I always thought that was really cool. Something else we did was the water was no good. We couldn't drink the water. It turns out years later, it was very contaminated. And you could just smell the sulfur in the water. And so we went and got water from this creek. It was pure water. We'd also get it from the fire station and from other places, but my grandma had these huge jugs. They were just huge and very utilitarian, which a lot of stuff in Alaska is very utilitarian. And we would go get water, and that doesn't sound very exciting, but when you have such humble roots, that was exciting. It was like, wow, we're going to go get water and it's fresh. And then we can drink it. Like, just the most simple things were part of our routine. Something else my grandma did, like clockwork, was she had this P.O. box down at the North Pole post office, and she went every day and checked her P.O. box for decades. Something else we did as a family sometimes is we would go berry picking, and that was a lot of fun. I remember this one time we all made jam, and just the simple little memories that are the best. And then there was this place called Kramer's Dairy or Kramer's Field out in Fairbanks, and we'd go take walks there. And there was a little farmer's market too, kind of near there, Kramer's Dairy. So those were some of the routines we did in Alaska. And Alaska, it was just a pretty simple childhood, just routines. And so I just wanted to share about some of the routines. My grandma was a big sewer, so she would sew her way through the winter. That was one of her routines. And then cooking too, I think. Oh, and how could I forget? We all went to the library. That was one of our main things to do. We went to the Fairbanks Library, which was wonderful, downtown Fairbanks, and then we went to the North Pole Branch Library. And since my sister and I were children, we did activities and crafts and would read. I remember my grandma reading mostly magazines. She liked to read cooking recipes, stories, and things like that. But I remember us going to the library quite often. So that was another one of our routines. And then swimming at the base. So those are some of my early memories of doing simple things with my grandma. And this is Dexter in the background.